Hare Krishna. Kirtans. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Shatashi Srimati Srimangaya Sabhai Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya BBT Sanstapaka Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Namacharya Srila Hridas Thakur Ki Jai Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahiyam Dadati Swapadantika Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Yaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Today we will be singing Happy Birthday to Advaita Acarya. Today is his appearance day, birthday. You want to sing that? Happy birthday. So today is Magha Shukla Saptami. These words are new to most of us. Therefore, I particularly wanted to mention it. Anyways, the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, is appeared as Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya he spent half of his manifest pastimes, his activities on this planet, the town of Navadvip and its suburbs and surroundings. Not Lord Chaitanya, as a young man, he found out that chanting the holy names of the Supreme Lord is very, very pleasing. He was a scholar. So maybe he met some ISKCON devotees doing book distribution or Harinam. So he got interested in chanting. So you have to constantly find reasons to chant Hare Krishna. The Hare Krishna Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He found it so intoxicating that he would completely become unaware of his surroundings. Practically, he would be maddened by the process of chanting. Not like us. We sometimes become mad when Kirtan is happening. It's more about how high somebody can jump. Or how agile their joints are. The days of simply dancing with your right leg in front of your left leg and then the left leg in front of the right leg, those days are quite rare, like the days of sun in Seattle. Typically with young people, Kirtan becomes what we call as vibrant or we have another word for it, ecstatic. So whenever there is ecstatic kirtan, especially dancing kirtan, people 40 plus, they try to move away. Because there's a lot of turbulence going on there, isn't it? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would become totally engrossed in kirtan, so much so that in his intoxicated state, he would jump into the air and he'd forget that he had to land on his feet. He completely was unaware that he had any limbs. So can you imagine, you jump in the air and you have no landing gear. So you'd fall to the ground. Some of the devotees will be concerned. Others would be amazed. And most importantly, they didn't have to bring in any first aid. You'd jump back and start twirling around. It was as if the earth had transformed into a soft cushion for him. There would be no abrasions. There would be no pain in the limbs later on. There would be no after effects of kirtan. Like sometimes you find devotees, what happened? They may be limping a little or they may be hurting a little and they say, oh, nothing. I was participating in kirtan. You'd just jump up, dance. And then when no one was expecting it, he would again crash back onto the ground. Various ways he would crash. So he was totally engrossed in kirtan. And devotees, they had never experienced such kirtan, the devotees of Navadvip. And then to make matters a little more interesting, came along Nityananda Prabhu. Now these two brothers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, when they would dance, people couldn't stay still. Some of them would start crying, people would be on their knees praying, others would be just laughing and completely and gleefully they would be clapping their hands. Others would be with their arms tucked into each other, they would be tolling around. And Chaitanya Nitai, they would, sometimes Kaviraj Goswami, one of the biographers, he writes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would jump up and somehow or the other his waist was so flexible that his feet practically would be touching his head. I don't think so any of the yoga studios teach you that kind of asana. So can you understand how wonderful it would be if we have such flexibility, at least from the point of view of good health? So they would jump up, their feet practically touching their head. And both the brothers would do like that. And seeing each other so much in love with Krishna's holy names, they would become stunned. Having become stunned, they would fall unconscious. For some time, they would be unconscious. They would be breathing, devotees would be chanting, they were having this really big smile on their face, tears rolling down their eyes, this just divine look, but they would be unconscious. So one day, when Lord Chaitanya was unconscious, a gentleman from the crowd, he took his chance, prostrated himself onto the ground with such dexterity, with so much of perfect calculations, that the top of his head was touching the sole of the feet of Lord Chaitanya. And then he started rubbing his head against his soul, the sole of Lord Chaitanya's feet. Because according to Vaishnava traditions, there's a lot of emphasis on the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. It is called as Charana Raj or Charana Renu. What is it called as? Charana Raj or Charana Renu. Yes. So there's a lot of emphasis on it. A disclaimer is that in modern times, 2022 and onwards, this should only be done under strict supervision. And on a serious note, people have actually had their ankles fractured by others trying to take what they thought was blessings. So it's not to be practiced unless we are in a very controlled environment. There are other ways of getting mercy. The most sublime way is prasad. So stand in line, take prasad, especially if it is pizza day. Very sublime, acceptable. Anyways, 500 years ago, so this gentleman, he took the dust of Lord Chaitanya's feet, and then he kind of, with his hands also, tried to take the dust from his feet. After some time, Lord Chaitanya comes back to his external consciousness. And as soon as he comes back to external consciousness, he jumps up, Kirtan is still going on, he starts dancing, everyone is happy, and then Lord Chaitanya stops dancing. He says, the Kirtan is very, very, very inspiring, but within my heart, I feel some emptiness. I'm not able to enjoy the Kirtan now. I don't feel pleasure in the Kirtan. It is as if someone has stolen away my pleasure. I think a thief has taken away a treasure from me. I know it is one of you. Who is it? Everyone was quiet because they were caught between the deep sea and the burning fire. No one would say a word. Seeing the discomfort of devotees, and Lord Chaitanya was asking again and again, who is it? Who is a thief? Who is a thief? So this gentleman steps forward with folded palms and he says, my dear Lord, if treasure is available, shouldn't we try to get that treasure by all means? Especially if it is very valuable and it is available. So you're the Supreme Lord, and I'm the thief. I took the dust from your lotus feet. Lord Chaitanya said, what? You? So he says, dear Lord, please forgive me. Please forgive my transgression. If it displeases you, I will not do it anymore. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is expressing agitation right now. He says, you destroy everything. And you don't even feel any remorse in your heart. You won't be happy unless and until you destroy me also. You destroy the ascetics, you destroy the sannyasis, you destroy the yogis, you destroy the philosophers. Whom do you not destroy with your trident? When people grasp your feet to attain the goal of life, you destroy their life. A certain sincere Vaishnava who lives in Mathura has come to see the glory of your feet. And after seeing you, how can anyone attain devotion to Lord Vishnu? Whatever devotion he attains, your eternal potency takes away. When you touch the dust of a person's feet, you destroy him. Without mercy, you destroy him. Lord Krishna has given you all the devotion that exists in countless universes. Still you rob. You rob from a small person who has little. There is no mercy in your heart. You rob from the poor. You're a hoodlum. You're Robber Raj, the king of the robbers. You have robbed my happiness of love for Lord Krishna. In this way, on the pretext of criticizing him, Lord Chaitanya actually praised Advaita Acharya. This was Advaita Acharya. How does Advaita Acharya have a trident? Because according to Gaudiya philosophy, he is the direct manifestation, or he is directly Lord Shadashiva. It is his potency that manifests as Lord Shiva, Mahadev. Anyone who approaches him seeking devotion, he destroys the material life. He gives them devotion. Anyone who seeks material benefits from him, he offers them shelter. So devotees of Lord Krishna, they approach Advaita Acharya, knowing very well that this is the easy route to Lord Chaitanya's heart. Just as devotees of Lord Krishna, they worship Lord Shiva. Knowing that, by pleasing him, we can aspire to seek his blessings for unmotivated devotional service to Krishna. Lord Shiva is very, very dear and important in the land of Vrindavan. Kshetrapa, the protector of the Dham. So if we need the mercy of the Dham, we must have the key to enter the Dham. And the key to enter the Dham is through Gopeshwar Mahadev. Those who know of this, they worship Gopeshwar Mahadev. Those who know that Lord Shiva, very happy to give all his blessings to devotees who want to worship Krishna. They go to Bhuteshwar Mahadev. and worship him in Mathura. They worship him as Nandeshwar Mahadev in Nandagram. They worship him as Chakreshwar Mahadev at Mansi Ganga. Shri Govardhan Raj. The same Lord Shiva has manifested as Advaita Acarya. He says a certain Vaishnava from Mathura, a certain devotee from Mathura. Who's that? He himself. Because he considered himself to be a cowherd boy of Vrindavan. He says he has come seeking mercy from you and you've completely destroyed his life. Why have you done this? Advaita Acharya is stunned, doesn't know what to say. What do you say if your own lawyer testifies against you? What do you say if the judge is giving his decision against you? Advaita Acharya was quiet. Lord Chaitanya says, I know how to deal with a thief. You think only you can steal? Even I can steal. He says, all right, old man. Advaita Acharya is at least half a century older than him. So Lord Chaitanya is in his 20s, Advaita Acharya is in his 70s. He says, okay, you try to steal from me, I will steal from you. So Lord Chaitanya now lunges forward, and before Advaita Acharya can say Hari, Lord Chaitanya has got hold of his feet. And by the time he can say Bol, he's massaging his feet. And Lord Chaitanya says, now I have stolen from a thief. I've taken back my treasure from you. Advaita Acharya falls down unconscious. He says, my dear Lord, I'm lost. He says, my dear Lord, you give happiness to your devotees. You punish those who try to disturb your devotees. Narada and the sages would come to Dwarka to see their life's treasure, the lotus feet. And what would you do? You would make them sit on an asana and wash their feet. What could they do then? When you take the dust of your servant's feet, what can your servant do? How can your servant give the dust of his feet to you? And how can one disobey your command? It is not right for the Supreme Lord to act in this way. You think this is funny? But you're destroying me. But you may protect me, you may destroy me, my dear Lord. Whatever you do is for my welfare. You may do as you wish. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he became shy. Like what? I am Dwarka. Sages come to me, he becomes shy. Just imagine Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's fair complexion, like golden complexion. He becomes bashful. There's blood flowing through his cheeks. He's all red. It's amazing. It's as if suddenly the Arunodaya, the sun is just rising on the eastern horizon. He says, my dear sir, you are the keeper of the storehouse of devotional service. That is why I serve you. Anyone who adorns his body with the dust of your feet will float in the nectar of pure love for Lord Krishna. Unless and until you bestow devotional service within the heart of a practitioner, no one can attain devotional service. It's not possible. I am your property. You can sell me as you like. You are my Guru. You are my worshipful Lord. I tell you the truth. In their hearts, all the devotees meditated on Lord Chaitanya. And they said, the Lord has truly served him, served Advaita. Therefore, Advaita Acharya is such an exalted person. Millions or tens of millions of lifetimes of liberation are not equal to the small fraction of the love that Advaita Acharya has attained for Lord Krishna. Even the demigod Shiva cannot attain the mercy that Advaita Acharya has attained from Lord Chaitanya. We are very fortunate to associate with such an exalted devotee. The dust of this devotee's feet we place on our limbs. So I wanted to begin with this story about Advaita Acharya. This is narrated in the Chaitanya Bhagavata. And Damdas Thakur glorifies Advaita Acharya in so many wonderful ways. There's another wonderful narration in the Chaitanya Bhagavata. But before that, we'll try to see who is Advaita Acharya. Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Yashrijatyada Tasya Avatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishwaram. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. So this is another dimension of Advaita Acharya. Not only is he the direct manifestation of Lord Sadashiva, he is also the manifestation of Lord Mahavishnu. The same Lord from whose pores comes all the universes. The same Lord from whose pores manifests the Mahat Tattva, the Pradhan. The same Lord from whose glands the living entities are impregnated into material nature. That Lord Mahavishnu has now appeared as Advaita Acharya. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamshanat Bhaktavatarameshantam Advaita Acharyam Ashray. because he is non-different from Hari. So this is Advaita Acharya. Hence his name is Advaita. When he was born, the name that he was given by his parents was Mangal. His mother called him Mangal. Bengali lady. They always they give names like this: Mangal, Gaurango. According to astrological calculations, he was given the name Kamalaksh. Some biographers say that he was called Kamalakant also. How did he get the name Advaita? Because he is non-different from Sri Hari. He is Sri Hari himself, the Supreme Lord. He is Avatar, descending from the spiritual world. Kaviraj Goswami, he glorifies him as Bhakta Avatar, the incarnation of a devotee. Bhakta Avatar also means the expansion of the Bhakta. And who's Bhakta? According to this verse, Bhakta is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhakta Rupa, Swarupaka. Swarupa is Nityananda. So sometimes Nityananda Goswami is also called as Swarup. That is one of the names of Nityananda Goswami. His immediate expansion, the immediate expansion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhakta Rupa. Therefore, when we say incarnation of a devotee, we miss out on the fact that the devotee is Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, he is actually an avatar of Lord Gauranga, Lord Krishna. How is that? Just as Mahavishnu is an avatar of Lord Krishna, an expansion. So, Bhakta Avatar. So, he is not different from Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is also the person who propagates the cult of devotion. He's called Acarya. This title was given to him by his teachers. According to certain narrations, his birth is in Shantipur. Certain narrations. There is a book called as Prema Vilas that mentions that. But Bhakti Ratnakar, which is the only other book that mentions about the birth of Advaita Acharya. Therein, Narhari Sarkar, or Narhari Chakravarti, he writes that he appeared in Srihatta, the town of Srihatta, in the village known as Nabagram. So Srihatta is now called as Sylhet. It is in present-day Bangladesh. She was born in a Varendra Brahmana family, one of the Brahmana clans, which basically means he was very well respected. That part of the country of Gaudadesh, this clan is like top class. Hence, when he came to Shantipur, he was accepted as the head of the community because of his age, his scholarship, his personality, and also belonged to a very high-class clan of Brahmanas, the Varendra clan. In today's times, we have absolutely no idea where the clan is. It's just like after 2 generations, people will have no idea who the Kakatiyas are. They will not even know what is Telugu. So as a young man, very well-to-do family. His father was very rich, and his father's name was Kuvera Pandit. Now, there's a book called as Gaura Ganadesha Deepika. That book gives us some idea as to who these personalities are originally. So Kuvera Pandit is actually the Devata Kuber. So Kuber and Lord Shiva, they decided to exchange positions. Typically, Kuber is one of the assistants of Lord Shiva in Kailash Dham. Here, Kuber Pandit is father, Kamalakant is son. His mother's name is Nabha Devi. So he moved to Shantipur, palatial house in Shantipur. Very, very prosperous town, Shantipur. Navadvip was like the financial district. It was like Silicon Valley. And Shantipur was the next town coming up, an answer to Silicon Valley, Seattle. Promising place. So you had a big house in Shantipur. But then business interests and his head office was in Navadvip. So he had another palace in Navadvip. So once upon a time, there was kirtan going on in Navadvip. In the courtyard of Srivas Thakur. And again, everyone was just rooting for, like here you root for your team. Gauranga, Nityananda, Gaura, Nitai, Gaura, Nitai. And the 2 brothers are performing. They are dancing. So as they were dancing, sometimes they embraced each other. How many of you have actually danced in ecstatic kirtan? Like going round and round and round, especially if you have your arms tucked in each other's, in someone else's arms. You twirl around. Have you seen generally people, when they kind of understand that they cannot continue anymore, they like embrace. It happens, right? So see, sometimes they would embrace each other. Sometimes they would have tears in their eyes. Each one would try to touch the other's feet. They would not be successful. Have you ever played in an Indian game called as Kho-Kho? You know what is Kho-Kho? So, while they're doing kirtan, they would be so happy in each other's presence that they would be jumping in joy. Sometimes they would forget themselves, forget that they are Gaura Nitai in Navadvip, and to think they're cowherd boys in Vrindavan. They would go into a trance. One would have a stick in the hand to herd cows. The other would have a flute. Have you really danced like now with a lot of energy in Kirtan? How many of you have actually done that? Raise of hands. And if you have done that, especially if you are in devotional clothes, and wearing devotional clothes is not your day-to-day activity. After the dance, most of you have to take care of your clothes. You need to tighten it a little bit. The clothes have moved from their original positions where they're supposed to be. Especially if you have uttari and dhoti, or if you have a shawl, things get a little topsy-turvy. In their case, their clothes were all over the place. The front fold of the dhoti had kind of opened up. It was hanging from the waist, something like that. And they forgot to keep their clothing intact. Both of them were intoxicated by the Kirtan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he turned to the Kirtani as a singer. He said, chant more, chant more. And then you'd start crying tears of joy. And you cry, his tears were so incessant that the upper part of his body would be soaked by his tears. And Nityananda Prabhu's body would also be soaked with his tears. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would completely forget that he is dancing. He would feel as if he's floating. His hands would fly in the air, his feet were flying, rolling around. This way, they were completely amazed by the Kirtan and they were floating in the ocean of bliss. When the devotees watched them dance, they were so much affected by the dance that their heart could not contain those emotions. Their hearts were actually having fibrillations, the good kind. So when your heart has fibrillations, you feel as if the world is shaking around you. Because the heart is pumping blood with so much intensity, the blood pressure has really increased. So you feel the world going round and round. So the devotees started feeling as if the whole earth was shaking. They were like, is there an earthquake? Who cared? Lord Gauranga and Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda were just going on dancing. And suddenly, in Srivasa's house, there was a throne of Lord Vishnu in his temple. Today's times we don't have it. The Singhasan it is called as. We simply have an altar, little altar. Singhasans. If you go to traditional families in Bengal or in the north, you'll find North India, you'll find still like silver-plated, gold-plated Singhasans, thrones. This is the place where they seat the Lord during special occasions. On Janmashtami, on Dola Yatra, festivals like that. They would seat the Lord there on that throne. Otherwise, they do have a pedestal too. They do have an altar too, separate from that. So Lord Chaitanya, he climbed up onto the throne and he took on the mood of Balaram. Overwhelmed in the mood of Balaram, he says, Varuni, Varuni. Everyone is like, oh yes, let us give him Varuni. Let us give him Varuni. They go on, eBay, online. There's no brand like that. There's no product that is called as Varuni. And then he turns to Lord Nityananda and he says, give me a hala, a plow. Where is my hala? Where is my hala? Varuni, hala. I want it right now. Where is my Gada? Like Balaram. Gada, Hal. Varuni. So when Lord Nityananda heard him ask for Gada, he just looked around and he put something in the hands of Lord Chaitanya. He says, here is your Gada. Lord Chaitanya is like, oh, Nityananda gave a Gada. Definitely it must be Gada. Definitely it must be the club. He's satisfied. So taking cue from that, the devotee said, this is nice. We can also give him Varuni. So they got pots of Ganga water, Ganges water. And they gave it to the Lord. Here is Varuni. Here is Varuni. So he takes the Varuni and he starts drinking the Varuni. He is drinking the Varuni. It is entering his mouth. It is flowing out of his mouth. So now the upper body is kind of confused. That is the wetness by his tears, or is it because of the Varuni? The Varuni is flowing all over the upper part of his body into his mouth. Lord Chaitanya is simply intoxicated. He is having fun. And then he takes his plow and is kind of twirling it around. He says, here is my plow, here is my hull. So everyone understands that he's in the mood of Balaram. And then he shouts out, Nada! Nada! And they're like, does he want something to drink? Does he want something to hold? And Lord Chaitanya starts shaking, going back and forth like this. And then he goes like this, Nada! 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 Like, is it Nada? Because Nada means sound. So Lord Chaitanya is intoxicated. His tongue is like he feels as his tongue is now swollen, thickened up. Nada! Nada! So people are wondering. They inquired from the Lord, dear Lord, who are you calling by the name of Nada? The Lord replied, it is he by whose loud call I have appeared. The person that you call as Advaita Acarya is known as Nada. I have simply appeared in this world on his behest. Mohare anila nada vaikunta thakiya nishchinte rohi lagiya haridasa laya. So he called me. I came here, and now this gentleman is simply having fun chanting with Haridas Thakur. So I'm here. What am I supposed to do? He doesn't tell me that. He's called me, and he is the reason why I'm here. And the devotees hear that. They are very pleased. Lord Chaitanya says that I have come here to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. I will preach this process of chanting Hare Krishna to one and all, including the fallen souls who have no qualifications to chant the holy names. Those who offend my devotees, being proud of their learning, wealth, high birth, knowledge, and austerity, I will never give them this mercy. I will freely give this love of God to everyone else. That very love of God that is rarely attained by the greatest of great souls. Hearing these words from Lord Chaitanya, the devotees all became very ecstatic. After some time, the Lord came back to his external consciousness. He saw him sitting on the throne. He became very shy. He immediately got down. And he looked around at his devotees and he said, did I do anything crazy again? It is only by your mercy that I still have some sanity. and he embraced everyone. Everyone simply was so happy to see Lord Chaitanya exhibit this wonderful relationship that he had with Advaita Acharya. Mora nada jani bare ache he no jona je mohare ani lekha bhangiya shoyana. In another place, it tells Shivas Thakur, you know this person, this nada. So, the word nada means somebody who has called you. It comes from nad. You know nad? Nad means sound. So he says, this gentleman, he disturbed my sleep. Bhangiya shayan. I love to sleep. I'm always sleeping in the causal ocean. He destroyed my sleep. He broke my sleep and got me here. Mora nada jani bare ache heno jon. Who is there any fortunate soul here that knows the glories of my Advaita Acharya? Prabhu bole ahe Srinivasa Mahashaya Mohara nadera e tomara vinaya. Oh great Srinivas, is this how we respect Advaita Acharya? Please give him a lot of respect. Why? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Shukadi kori shaba balaka uhara nadera pache se janma jani ho shabara. Shuk, another ascetics, Shuka Adi, Kori Shaba Balaka Uhar, they are all basically, they are childlike, they are all children before my Nada. All of them have come later on into devotional service. First, he is the very first person, he is the one who has inspired everyone else. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya is glorifying Advaita Acharya. Advaitera lagi mora e avatara mora karne bhaje asi nadara hunkar. It is only because of Advaita Acharya that I have appeared here as an avatar. Because his words, his hunkara, his loud calls for me to appear, they are still ringing in my ear. I'm here, but still those loud calls are ringing in my ear. My dear Lord, please appear. The Lord Advaita Acharya, he felt that only Lord Chaitanya could come and he could bring some sanity to this world. No one else could bring sanity to this world. So he says, I was peacefully sleeping. He disturbed my sleep. He got me here. Otherwise, I was sleeping peacefully. So that is why Advaita Acharya is considered to be the master of all the conditioned souls. He is our worshipable master and of all practitioners. Another time, Lord Chaitanya was doing kirtan. And Advaita Acharya was dancing. Suddenly, Advaita Acharya falls down unconscious, completely unaware. At that moment, Mother Sachi comes and puts her head at the feet of Advaita Acharya and takes the dust from his lotus feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiles and says, yes, Mother Sachi's offense is now mitigated. So what was the offense? Mother Sachi says, sometime back she had said, his name should not be Advaita, it should be Dvaita. Because Advaita means transparent, has only one point of view. But he is Dvaita. He is a hypocrite. He says that everyone can practice Krishna consciousness staying at home. However, in his association, my son left home and took sannyas. So, he is Dvaita. to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what? You think that he is the cause of? This is not very good. Adasachi. You shouldn't be thinking about Advaita Acharya like that. Therefore, when devotees asked, my dear Lord, why are you not giving mercy to Mother Sachi? He said, because she has offended Advaita Acharya. What can I do? He is the storer of devotional service. What can I do? It is like Lord Vishnu telling Durvasa Muni, what can I do? It is my Sudarshan Chakra, I agree, but it is no longer functioning under my supervision. It is functioning under the supervision of my devotional energy. So what can I do? So she took the dust. Advaita Acharya gets up, he starts dancing again, and then he says, I feel emptiness within the heart. Has someone stolen the treasure from my heart? And then he realizes it is Mother Sachi. He says, well, I cannot do what? I cannot become a thief. I cannot forcefully take Mother Sachi's past. So Advaita Acharya leaves Shantipur, leaves Navadvip and goes to Shantipur. There is another story related to that, but we cannot tell you that. You know why? Because I know that you know that story. That is why. So Advaita Acharya is the dear Lord of all of our hearts, the hearts of those who practice Krishna consciousness. And hence we offer up prayers to Advaita Acharya. Daya kar Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nita Daya kar Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nita Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Shila Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki jai. Shila Advaita Acharya Avirbhav Tithi ki jai. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop.